Welcome to Future Consideration, SB Nation's NFL Draft Show, and that's Ryan. He's sitting in for Dan, but he also watches college football.
Way too much college football. Like bad college football, Iowa game college football.
Yeah. I think that's bad. I watch mostly NFL. We're here to talk about the various college players entering the NFL. Starting out with mocking the draft's new mock draft. Number one, once again, Tampa Bay taking Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I mean, you heard that Jameis Winston went down to Tampa, met with the team. They seem very impressed with him in terms of his knowledge of the game and how he interviewed. And I bet that's all there is to say about Jameis Winston, right?
It certainly is. We'll get into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' needs a little bit later on in the show. Next up, Leonard Williams going to the Tennessee Titans. We've seen this before. Dan Rubenstein and I think that Leonard Williams might be the surest thing in this year's NFL draft.
He's if not the surest, he's one of the scariest things in this year's draft because he will make everybody's day miserable that he has to play against.
And 3, the Jaguars taking Dante Fowler from Florida. You're a Florida guy.
I am, yeah. Dante Fowler, one of the few bright spots of this Florida team the last couple of years. Had a great combine, was super fast, super strong. Looks like, you know, he could be a game-changing pass rusher in Jacksonville, and that's something they could certainly use going forward, not getting any younger on the defensive line.
Any relation to Chris Fowler?
We're all related in some way, Matt.
The football Fowlers.
Yeah.
Let's bounce around now. At number 6, mocking the draft has Mariota falling to the Jets at 6 this week.
Yeah, interesting given that there's been a lot of rumors going around that Washington is going to take Mariota if he's there at 5. And if you had a choice, you could either be the quarterback right now for Washington or the New York Jets. Which would you pick?
I mean, I would take the Jets. It's like choosing between.
The correct answer is basketball career. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if the Jets could ruin another talented young quarterback.
I believe that they believe they can.
Yeah.
So.
We won't find out unless. Oh man, Marcus Mariota. I hope for better for you.
Yeah.
Sir. At number 8, the Falcons taking Vic Beasley, the defensive end, outside linebacker from Clemson. Tell me about him.
He is a phenomenal pass rusher. He also, like Dante Fowler, had a really nice combine. He's somebody who is so dangerous that even though Atlanta has, as we're going to talk about later, a number of other problems on defense, he may be good enough on his own that he forces opposing offenses to scheme around him, and that opens things up for a lot of other players. That's certainly the role he had at Clemson, making other guys look good just because of how talented he was.
And pass rush is certainly the Falcons' biggest need. They have several,
yeah.
But pass rush is their biggest problem. Okay, at 14, the Dolphins taking Devontae Parker from Louisville.
Yeah, I think this is interesting given that Brian Hartline's gone now to Cleveland. Jarvis Landry was pretty good for them last year in mixed spots. And Mike Wallace,
I've heard rumors that the Dolphins might be shopping him around.
There's no clue where he stands in that locker room, if he even wants to be there anymore. Devontae Parker, I'll tell you this, he has some of the best hands of any college football athlete coming out in this draft. He has an exceptional catch radius. He goes up and makes plays, and that is probably the kind of thing you want in Miami right now.
Are you comparing him to Odell Beckham Jr.?
I'm not saying he's not like Odell Beckham Jr. And if you're Ryan Tannehill, having somebody who you can throw the ball deep and not have to put it right on his hands, he can move around and go get to it, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. 17, an intriguing pick if you're a Chargers fan. Melvin Gordon, the world-busting running back from Wisconsin.
Yeah, he is an absolute workhorse, and given that the Chargers only scored 6 touchdowns on the ground last year,
That is not many rushing touchdowns.
Like, Melvin Gordon might break that in 2 games if he gets this job.
Of course, Ryan Matthews left in free agency.
Yes.
Donald Brown is a lousy signing for them. I don't think Danny Woodhead is going to be your power back.
Oh, PFT commenter would be so mad at you right now.
Let's wrap up the mock draft by discussing the Ravens pick at 26. Devin Smith, Ohio State wideout.
Yeah, I think this is the first time he's climbed into the first round in our mock drafts. The book on Devin Smith is pretty simple. He's crazy, crazy, crazy fast. And when you just lose Torrey Smith, somebody else who has that kind of game-breaking speed, this is a good option. He has a lot of things he needs to work on. Probably most notably, his hands are inconsistent. Some of that is technique, some of that is focus, but given the right situation and given the right coaching, he could be a terrifying weapon because he's one of those guys where you get him the ball in the open field and likely as not, it's a touchdown.
Certainly an intriguing fit for the Ravens, who do like to throw deep with Joe Flacco. He's got that big arm. The Ravens usually go defense near the end of first round. It would be, but the wide receiver is certainly a need for them. As you mentioned, Torrey Smith left in free agency. Steve Smith is, he's pushing 40.
I mean, is that going to stop him? Nothing else does.
He'll tell you no. Those are our thoughts on mocking the drafts, mock draft this week. Be sure to check out the rest of the mock draft at sbnation.com.